Hi everyone and welcome to episode 6 of Relegation Rescue at Portimonense with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, we remain slightly inconsistent, but I guess on the positive side of inconsistent, if there is such a thing. We've had a draw and a win in the last couple of games, but probably with teams round the wrong way in that sense. It's been a bit kind of weird, but it still leaves us in a good mid-table spot in the Primiera Liga, which is fantastic. Today though, second placed Porto are the opposition. They're going to be a challenge. I'm not expecting much from us in terms of getting the points, but you never know, so let's give it a go. So welcome back to Portimonense in Portugal's top tier division. We currently sit in 11th place. If we go and have a look at the table, you see 11th place after playing 26 matches on 31 points. We've now got a bit of a gap as well, 4-point gap between us and the beginning of the relegation area, and the two actual relegation spots where you don't have any choice, you go straight down. I think we've cleared that now, so it's just about getting a little bit more of a gap between us and 16th just to secure the spot in the top division for next season. Even if we're not going to be actually playing it ourselves, that's our job, and we'll see if we can do it. So 31 points after 26 played. We've got a good opportunity today, if we win the game, to go another 3 points clear of Vicente in that 16th place spot. They've already played their 27th game, so things are looking decent. But as I say, today, Porto, and they sit in second. Now Braga are running away with the title. Absolutely, they really are. 60 points after 24 played, and you can see Porto on 53 after 26 played. So it looks like Braga are going to win the title, and we can dent the title chances of Porto even further if we take points off them. I will happily, absolutely happily take a draw if we could get it. A win would just kind of be amazing, wouldn't it, at this point, considering also that we are away from home in this particular match. So, stacked against us today. Form has been a kind of bit interesting, so we've got to find a way to sort of settle that down a little bit. I'm not expecting a lot, but you never know. So this is what I mean when I talk about the form being on the positive side of inconsistent. We did get another 4-2 win, a load more goals in the game against Firenze, and so we improved our league position. But then, and they were sitting in sort of 6th place at the time, so you could see that that's where maybe you would have expected us to draw, maybe, but we didn't. We won, and then we played 16th place Famalicão. And we only got a 0-0 draw and never really looked like scoring. And it was a very, very dull game in which, yeah, it just didn't go our way at all. So it was kind of round the wrong way, really. You'd have expected those two results to be flipped. But anyway, we still came away with 4 points from those two matches, which is great, which, as we've already seen, leaves us in 11th spot. Today we get Porto, and we've only got 2 or 3 more episodes to go of this particular series. We're probably going to come back and play Sporting, and then we might fit another one in maybe against Santa Clara before coming back to Tondela to finish the season. So we've probably got another 3 episodes to go after today. And yeah, it doesn't get much bigger than today, does it really? Those sort of top 3 or 4 sides in this league of the likes of Braga and Benfica, and now we get Porto. So yeah, tricky one, but we've got to play them, so let's get on with it. So in terms of our squad, we do have a couple of issues, unfortunately. You remember in the last episode, we talked about Jaden that had come back into the club, having been on loan. He was too late to be registered for this second half of the season, unfortunately. Probably my mistake. I can't even remember what date he came back, but he came back late. And therefore, we couldn't register him. So he's been moved down to the under-23s just to get him out of my sight, my eye line, really, just so I'm not distracted by the fact that I can't use him, because he's a decent player and I don't know why they loaned him out. So that's that first thing done. Then we've got a few injuries to talk about. We've got this guy here, Medeiros, who is sort of our holding midfield player type of understudy, and he's going to be out for basically 5 weeks from this point, 3 to 5 weeks. so I'm not sure whether he'll get back for this campaign or not, to be honest. And we've got a similar issue with William Rocha, who is our central defender and usually plays in partnership with Maurizio, but now is out for the next 3 weeks, so he's going to be out for a chunk of games as well. Fernandez, the long-term absentee that we haven't been able to get into this side since we took over at Christmas because he's been injured all the way through, has still got another 4 weeks to go, so I suspect he's not going to make it back to the end before the end of the season either. So it's just beginning to look a little bit threadbare in a couple of spots, and today we're having to play out one of our reserve centre-backs, and pretty much for the rest of the season it looks like. So yeah, bit of an unfortunate one that, but I guess injuries are always going to happen here and there. It doesn't change the fact I think we've got a decent squad together in the January transfer window. I think we can cope with most of the teams that we play against. Maybe not today though. We'll find out how we go, and we're going to give it as good a go as we can, but Porto are going to be challenging, aren't they? So let's see how we get on with a team of Ferreira in goal, Mufi at right back, Anzi at left back. We've got Maurizio and Pozzagnolo in central defence, with Sarr, Rashid and Denner in central midfield. Job on the right, Macias on the left and Vitinho up top, and 9 people on the bench, 5 of which can be used. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've gone with a fairly chilled out, hands in pockets type of gesture and suggested to them we've got nothing to lose, we know how good we are, let's show everybody what we're capable of. It doesn't matter whether we don't win this one particularly, we're not kind of supposed to. Any points that we can get is a bit of a bonus in terms of our fight to claw our way out of that relegation zone permanently. But we'll have to wait and see how we get on. Here's our asymmetric formation though. Let's see how well it does against the mighty Porto. Obviously, we're away from home, so that's going to be challenging as well. In a much, there's some fairly empty stadiums in the Portuguese league, it feels like. Maybe it's just following us around and we're not a big enough draw, I don't know. But loads and loads of empty stadiums in this top division, which I'm kind of surprised about, really. Is that true to reality in Portuguese football? You tell me if you know something about it. Do they fill out their stadiums a lot, or is it not? I don't know. It just feels a bit weird. But anyway, Anzi down the left-hand side. Good opportunity early on, 11 minutes in, for us to have a highlight. And we worked it well into more central area, and Fabrizio takes over with Rashid in that central midfield position, just pulling the strings as it were, and then on top of the penalty box to Vitinho, shifts it out from the defender and then charges round him, takes everybody surprised. Instead of shooting, moves the ball and runs through with it into the penalty box, and then calmly puts it into that bottom corner. And surprisingly, after 11 minutes we take a 1-0 lead. There's that lovely little jinky move round the side of the defender who wasn't expecting it at all, and then he's absolutely clinical. I think that's about his 5th in 4 starts for us and a couple of other sub appearances as well. So he has been doing fantastically well since we got him back, because he played through the January period of time for the Brazil under-23s. So we didn't have him immediately. Since he's come in, he's been pretty spectacular. But here's a chance at 17 minutes for Porto to get back into the game. They get to the top of the penalty box, and then they take a bit of a wild shot, really, and it goes pretty wide of the goal. And we didn't really have any worries on that one, really, at that point. So they can do that as much as they like. They can take those shots all day long. I don't mind at all. If we can keep our shape and keep our discipline and keep them to that length of shot, I think we'll be doing okay. Again, with a good opportunity. What is going on here, for goodness sake? This is one of the big wigs in the whole setup in Portugal, and we have come to their place, and with a brilliantly drifted free kick right the way over the top from a fairly central position, it's Denner that gets above everybody else. And he comfortably puts us 2-0 up after 34 minutes of the match. If we can hold this till half-time, we've got something to fight for in the second half, absolutely. A very, very, are we going to mess it up? We didn't quite. We took a chance in that build-up play from the defensive area through the goalkeeper, and in the end, we need to clear it, really, and we do on that occasion, and Vitinho holds it up brilliantly well on that right-hand side. We got away with it a little little bit at the back there. Some fairly sort of dodgy, close called passing. But eventually we get it all the way through to the Porto penalty box. But then they take the ball in that defensive area and put it quickly right over the top. And then the striker strikes it very early, but directly at the oncoming goalkeeper for us. And he blocks the shot and it goes out for a corner. And then Job gets a header on the ball to put it out for a throw-in. We are defending very, very well in this first half. We've let a few chances drift into the Porto areas for them to make us pay on it. And they haven't managed it. And at half-time, we are 2-0 up. And I'm kind of surprised, if I'm honest. If you look at the XG, it says everything you need to know. They've got an XG of 1.15, and we've got an XG, expected goals, of 0.34, and we've scored 2 from it. So we've not really created too many chances, only 3 shots at goal and 2 on target, and those 2 on target have gone into the net. Talk about being clinical. It's amazing, isn't it? Can we hold on to that in the second half? Let's get into the dressing room now. We've got something to fight for, haven't we? So pump the fists. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of even better. Have we got any reason to sub anybody at this point? I don't think we have particularly. So we're going to go straight back out into the second half, and we're just going to leave it as it is for now and just hope that we can continue to move the ball positively, not make any silly errors in and around that midfield area where they can counter-attack on us quickly. And if we can do that and suppress the game, then potentially there is an amazing result on the cards here. 68 minutes gone. We're going to pause the game and just go and check out the condition of the players and see if we need to replace anybody. That's not a surprise, is it? Pozzagnolo, who is the replacement at centre-back, has come in and is looking a little bit jaded compared to everybody else. He hasn't had exactly the same amount of football that everybody else has had recently. So we get to put in Tagliapetra instead. Just to see out the rest of the game. We've got a couple of issues here. Job on the right will come out and Boamorte will go in just to protect him. He looked a little tired. Same with Rashid, really. So what we're going to do is bring Silva in for Rashid and allow him to control the game from midfield for the remaining sort of 20-25 minutes of the game. What else do we want to do? I think we're going to leave it there just for now and go back in the game and play for about another sort of 5-10 minutes before making maybe a couple more changes as well, just for the last sort of 10 minutes of the match, just to see it out. But we've got 10 minutes to go, and there is a highlight for Porto, but they've booted the ball from the goal kick right the way into our defensive area, and we've taken the ball and we've put it back into midfield and eventually won it. Denner on the ball settles down the play finally. Mufi out wide right to the now Boamorte, Ailton Boamorte on that right-hand side, and we lose the ball again in their defensive area, and they win it in midfield, and now they get a chance to really settle down the play themselves and find an opening, and they did, and they got it was a good chance, and eventually our right-sided defender Mufi comes round and blocks the shot really well for a corner kick. The corner comes in, doesn't beat the first man, but they win it in central midfield, and we're still under a little bit of pressure, but again we get the block on. 81 minutes, we're going to pause the game again and just see whether we need to make another couple of substitutions just to see out the game. We're going to take Anzi off at the left back position, bring Candy on, and I think we're going to have to take Macias out and bring Vicente on because Macias isn't playing well enough at all. Look at the numbers that I've taken out of the side. 6.6, 6.4, 6.5. Not good enough, some of them today, are they? Unfortunately, but there we go. Let's go back into the game and see if we can see out this last 10 minutes. Another opportunity from Porto from their corner kick came in and they put the header over the top of the bar. So again, we breathe a sigh of relief, but they've had all of the play, haven't they, really? The possession's fairly even, but they've had 17 shots at goal, 9 on target, and we still beat them 2-0. 4 shots at goal the entire game, 2 of those on target, and it came. They created 2 goals from it. Our XG was pretty ropey, really, but it didn't matter. We took 2 chances that maybe we shouldn't have taken, but we did, and we came away with the 3 points, and that is absolutely magnificent. So here we are on the analytical page. Now, the question we have to ask ourselves is, how on earth did we manage it? They had more attempts at goal than us, more shots on target than us. We had a fairly even possession throughout the game, but we still beat a top 2 side 2-0 away from home. Now, the simple first thought is, on the XG rating alone, they should have got at least a goal themselves, and we were nowhere near getting a goal. But it's not all played on paper, this game, is it? It's played on the football pitch, and on our day, we took 2 great chances. And so that's the first thing to talk about. We overperformed in terms of our XG, our expected goals, and that is fantastic in itself. You can see that we had our 4 chances at goal, and 2 goals came from these 2 positions. We had another one from the edge of the box that was blocked, and another one from very, very wide that was off target. And that's all we did the entire game in terms of shots at goal. And you can see that on Porto's side of things, they peppered our goal, didn't they? And there were lots of shots that were saved. And that is the thing I was going to talk about, is our goalkeeper outperformed what his expectations were for this particular game. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their shots were saved by our goalkeeper. Some from a narrow position, some from a long distance, a couple from directly in front of the goal on the 6-yard box, and he kept them out all the way through the game, which is absolutely fantastic. And you can see here that gave him the best performer award, the man of the match. 8.6 average rating for Ferreira, our goalkeeper. And that is how we managed to win it today. You can see the average positions for us is this one here. And so you can see we had a lot of possession in this sort of defensive midfield area. So it wasn't all about the attacking options. It was about holding onto the ball in the vertical tiki-taka. And we kept a compact shape, which is really fantastic. We had a lot of the ball in the central midfield area as well. 38% of the ball was ours in that midfield area, which is fantastic to see. And then if we look at the focus of attacks, why is it not showing me that today? That's unfortunate. Oh, there we go. You can see here we are in the orange, and we got 50% centrally of our attacking play came from that middle area, and 33% on the wide right, 17 on the left. So we weren't using the left as much as we sometimes do, but the rest was working fantastically well for us. If we go into the team stats and look at the shots that we created, as I say, we didn't create too many today. We got our 2 goals. We got 1 off target from a slightly wider position, and we got 1 blocked from the edge of the box, and that was all that we created today. It wasn't about the shooting though, was it? It was about our goalkeeper, and we'll get to him in just a second. Passing though, the other thing that I love to look at, here's the completed passing map. Never shows me anything other than we play a vertical tiki-taka, and there's loads of good passing. So that's that one. Intercepted passes, there were quite a few of them today. Porto obviously closed us down quite well, and it's number 10, Rashid, who is always on the ball in and around this sort of area. You can see his number pops up quite a lot. Didn't quite get all of his passing away today, which is unfortunate. We got 2 blocked passes. That's not too bad. They only managed to block 2 of them. And then unsuccessful passes. This is a problem, isn't it? That we're still not quite always finding our target, and possibly going too long at various points along the way, because ultimately we should be playing the vertical tiki-taka in a very short passing game. But that's the unsuccessful ones. And then the final one, out of play. And that's the sort of view I like. It wasn't too bad at all. Again, Rashid down this left-hand side a little bit. Probably looking for the overlapping fullback. Didn't quite find his man, and it went out of play occasionally. But not too bad. And then we had that 1 key pass. I suspect that was the free kick, possibly. I don't even remember. But 1 key pass. And that was our passing story for the day. So let's go and check out the saves. And this is what we're going to be looking at mostly in this analysis setup for today, is that Ferreira had a fantastic game, and he saved 4 shots from inside the 6-yard box and held on to them, which is really important. Didn't parry them or punch them or anything like that. He held on to them from very close distance. And then he also managed to parry 3 shots, probably round the post for corner kicks, etc. 1 from the top of the penalty box, 1 from the penalty spot or between the penalty and the 6-yard box, and then 1 out wide. He managed to parry those shots. And then there was 1 more statistic where he saved it and tipped it over the bar, and again from very, very short distance. How on earth did he do that is my question. But that is fantastic, and it is him that gets all the credit today for the fact that we managed to get these 3 points away from home against title chasing Porto. The rest of the side played well, some good defensive statistics and ratings in there. Denner and Vitinho with their goals had a fantastic game up top, but the star of the show by a very clear margin, should I say, is Ferreira in goal, and it is he that gave us the win. So we can go into the team talk and we can outstretched arms say that was really special. Nobody gave us a chance. You played magnificently. Again, it boosts the morale and the motivation and the momentum behind our play, and we can come straight out and look at the table, and it moves us up into 10th place, having played 27 matches. Now, there's a couple of teams directly above us that have got a good couple of games in hand of us, and Sporting have still got 4 games in hand over us, so I'm not quite sure how they've managed that. So it's going to be interesting to see where those two end up in the next few games. But we are bearing down. Do I say it? We are bearing down on 6th position, which is a European spot. I'm not saying by any stretch that we're going to get there, because there's some really good sides in here that have got a lot of games in hand over us, as I say, and that's going to be prove tricky. But as it speaks, we are 3 points behind 6th position. And that is quite some turnaround since you and I started on Christmas Day, bottom of the table. And I will happily take it. So here we are back in the schedule page, just looking at the last few games of the season. We've got 7 to play. We are going to come back for the Sporting game. Remember, they're one of the sides that have got lots of games in hand over us as we speak. So getting a decent win against them would be amazing, wouldn't it, really, just to try and close that gap up a bit. And I think then we will actually do this. We will go in and play, after that, the following episode, we'll play the Santa Clara match. And then the final episode of this series will come back and play Tondela on the very last day of the season. So we've still got 3 episodes to come. I'm not sure what's happening with the lower league database at the moment, which is what we're waiting for to go into our main series for Football Manager 21 at Truro City in the 7th tier of English football. There's some issues with the editing section of Football Manager at the moment. So we might have to put another small series in between now and that start. Maybe we won't. I won't know that until the guys that are behind the editing stuff just drop it and say, there you go, there's the lower league management database. So we'll have to wait and see a bit on that, but we've still got 3 more episodes of this to come, which will take us through this week, which is a perfect timing really. Over the weekend maybe something will drop and we can start Truro maybe next week, or it will be another short-term series, but that's what's coming. So potentially a new series between now and Truro, maybe, or we'll go straight into Truro. For next episode, for this one, for Relegation Rescue, we're back with Sporting Lisbon, which is another big side to play, isn't it? And then we've got 2 more episodes after that to see if we can continue the rise up the table. I am no longer worried about relegation with this side, I must say. I think we've sorted that problem out. We have finally succeeded in one of these challenges. Now it becomes, how high can we finish? And with 6th place dangling just there, Who knows? Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. A brilliant result, a fantastic performance, especially from the keeper. Let's see if we can keep that momentum. This run of form is fantastic. Can we keep it through to the end of the season? Come back next episode and join me for the Sporting game. We'll see how we get on against them. Until then, though, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button for me. It helps me get seen by lots of other people. If you do want to join the United City community, there's a number of ways in which you can do it. You can follow me on Twitter or my Discord. You can support me through Patreon or my merchandise store. All of those links are in the description below, so go and check that out. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.